is Step 1 with Freddie Wilson. Welcome to another episode of Step 1. I am Freddie Wilson. As a reminder, you can find every episode of Step 1 on Spotify and YouTube. If you want to see more Step 1, give me a follow on Instagram at Step 1 with Freddie Wilson and Twitter at Step 1 Podcast. A great show for you today. My good friend Payton Logomarsino is returning to the show. We got a lot of college football to talk about this weekend where Alabama survives against Georgia and Ole Miss goes down. And in the NFL, Jane Daniels might be the savior of the Washington Commanders, and Aaron Rodgers is learning what life is like as a quarterback for the New York Jets. All right, let's ride. We had a wild weekend of college football this weekend, and it all started on Friday night in Miami, where a Hail Mary attempt to win the game by Virginia Tech was called a touchdown and then overturned after review. Now I agree it wasn't a catch, but there was discussion because, the precedent is you have to have indisputable evidence to overturn it, and it was called a catch. Yes, I wouldn't say it was a catch, but you also couldn't have any evidence that it wasn't not a catch. It was a really close play. They ended up overturning it. Miami got a win. It would have been really funny Miami lost that way, but wasn't meant to be. Great win for Miami. But Virginia Tech played well. Give them some credit. Also on Friday night, Rutgers became 4-0 after beating Washington. Now, Washington could have easily won this game. Like, they had the blocked field goal, but then had too many men on the field. Not even too many men on the field. They had a guy celebrating after they blocked it, and they called a penalty on that. And, of course, they missed some field goals. Yeah, rough loss for Washington. But, hey, I did not have it on my bingo card that Rutgers was going to be undefeated. But if they continue to play this well, we might talk about them a little more of a show than I ever thought we would about Rutgers football. Moving into Saturday, Kansas State and Avery Johnson dazzled at home as they trampled Oklahoma State. Every time I watch Avery Johnson play, I'm very impressed. I think he's an underrated quarterback. I think Kansas State's a very good team. You just have to learn how to win big games on the road because that BYU game was rough. Speaking about BYU, they are undefeated, and with Utah struggling, they could be a favorite to win a Big 12. We got another team I am shocked is undefeated in the Indiana Hoosiers. Yeah, sorry, we're talking about Indiana, and it's not basketball season. What an impressive win, and they might be a dark horse contender in the Big Ten. Moving into the SEC, Ole Miss goes down at home to Kentucky. Now, Kentucky, they're not a great team by any means, but they're also not an easy win, and they play like they have nothing to lose because they really don't. And they gave Georgia a scare, and they go down to Mississippi and find a way to win. And Ole Miss might not be as good as we thought they were because they were appearing to be very good. They had an explosive offense, an improved defense, which on a Lane Kiffin team is saying something. We know the offense is always going to be good, but a good defense, no, yeah, they didn't play anybody, but still, that's impressive. And this was not in the fold for them to lose. Like, this should have been a relatively easy win. But Kentucky came to play and was able to get a huge upset win. Sticking in the SEC, it's a bad time to be an Auburn fan. It was 21-10, and Oklahoma couldn't do much of anything on offense. They're starting a freshman quarterback. They can't get the ball moving, and yet Auburn found a way to lose. It's just a bad time to be an Auburn fan, and I think Hugh Freeze is going to be fired by the end of the season. And Auburn's going to be, yet again, back to square one of finding a new coach. They'll probably fire like 2 years later, but you never know. Moving into Saturday night, Penn State dominated Illinois in a game that was not the whiteout, but a night game at Happy Valley is still a hard place to win. I hope they do a night game for the Ohio State game. I know the whiteout game is Washington, which again, we've shared my thoughts on that. Why? Make it a game that matters. Like, they're going to be Washington anyways. Make the whiteout game a game that has some stake to it because it is hard to win at the whiteout. But anyways, good win for Penn State. Illinois' offense really struggled. And, of course, we got to talk about Georgia versus Alabama. This might be game of the year. Alabama was dominating Georgia, and it looked like they were going to run up the scoreboard on them. But then Georgia found a way in the second half to regroup. They come back. They take the lead late in the fourth quarter. But Alabama had a freshman wide receiver who's 17, by the way, and that guy came to play, and Alabama found a way to win after blowing a 4 touchdown lead. This is one of the best games, like regardless of who you're rooting for. This was one of the best games of college football you will ever watch. It was so much fun. I do kind of wish they stormed the field at Tuscaloosa. Apparently, they're above that, but that's just my opinion. And later in the night, Utah went down to Arizona in a rare home loss. I know we know a lot about Arizona because I use them in the college football 25 stream, which is coming back. I'm recording this Tuesday. It should be tonight, so you all probably already watched it by this time it airs. But Utah doesn't lose at home, and this was a big win for the Wildcats. And of course, the Ducks cruised to an easy win in a Big Ten after dark showdown against UCLA. Again, like the offense is getting a little better each week. Pick six didn't help, but the offensive line's looking good. So I think hopefully the Ducks are in relatively good shape. Moving into the NFL, it was a fun weekend in the NFL. And it all started Thursday night in New Jersey, where the Giants couldn't figure out how to score a touchdown. And Daniel Jones ran the worst 2 minute drill ever. The Cowboys always beat the Giants, but this was a closer game than usual. That being said, would have helped if the Giants could have found the end zone. Malik Neighbors is great, by the way, so at least Daniel Jones is making that work. But the Giants are a dumpster fire, and I don't see any scenario where they're going to be relevant. Moving into Sunday, the Bengals finally got a win against the Panthers and Andy Dalton. The Panthers do look a lot better with Andy Dalton at the helm. The Falcons found a way to beat the Saints with another Kirk Cousins game-winning drive. The Broncos won a game despite the fact that, I will admit, Bo Nix didn't play great, and somehow the Jets didn't find a way to score a touchdown in MetLife this weekend. I think Aaron Rodgers learned what life is like as a Jets quarterback. You get a little bit of hope, and then your dreams get crushed, and that's exactly what happened. He's starting to learn he may have made maybe not the best decision of being a quarterback for the New York Jets. It never goes well. Meanwhile, the Jaguars are still winless and looking for answers. The Packers lost, and I think we need a new kicker. I say it every year, and it's ridiculous how we can't find a good kicker. But yes, I know they got destroyed. They came back. But if we had made those 2 field goals, we would have won. I could probably kick better. And if I have the time, maybe I'll make an audition tape. I'm not saying I will, just hypothetically speaking. I think I could probably realistically kick a 30-yard field goal. I know today's day and age that doesn't mean much, but I could probably kick a field goal. Meanwhile, the Steelers lose to an old foe by the name of Joe Flacco. I hope the Colts bench Anthony Richardson because Joe Flacco is back and aging like a fine wine. Could it be for a second year in a row that Joe Flacco saves a struggling team? The Bears got a win, and the Buccaneers demolished the Eagles as Baker Mayfield continues to shine in Tampa. The Commanders may have found their quarterback, and I know it's early, and who knows if it's sustainable, but for a franchise struggling to find a quarterback for so long, it's got to be fun to have hope that they finally found their long-term solution. And the Chiefs are still undefeated despite Patrick Mahomes inadvertently helping injure Rashee Rice. Little side note here. I may have hit a jackpot with Chiefs players on my fantasy football team. With Rashee Rice out, fortunately, I didn't trade for him to our good. I didn't trade him or didn't trade for him. Friend of the show, Simon Gilbert, may have offered him to me. Didn't do the trade. Really glad I didn't. But anyways, I got Xavier Worthy. I got Travis Kelce. And with Checo out for a while, I pick up Kareem Hunt. I got all the Chiefs playmakers. So hopefully, on a personal level, that will help. Moving into Sunday night, the Baltimore Ravens and Derrick Henry exploded on offense, and the Bills had no answer on either side of the ball. Again, I think I've said every week, it's unfair the Ravens were able to get Derrick Henry. He fits perfectly into their offense, and the 1-2 punch of him and Lamar Jackson is absolutely unfair. And on Monday night, we had 2 games, and I predicted the Titans and the Dolphins game sucked, and it did. The Titans found a way to win only because Will Levis got injured, and the Dolphins are on a third-string quarterback. I've already said the Titans That's let me take that back. I've already read the Titans are planning on sticking with Will Levis, and I think it's a bad idea. Mason Rudolph's not great by any means, but he's a proven starter. He's won more games than Will Levis will probably ever win. So just maybe he's the answer to this team. I don't know. The Dolphins aren't that great, so who knows if he plays like against a team that's actually good. But good win for the Titans. The other game was all very exciting on Monday night, and the Detroit's Lions offense continues to find new trick plays to break out every single week. Jared Goff had an awesome game where he even caught a touchdown. He could not miss a pass. He played great. The Seahawks, however, are still a good team, but the Lions were just too good on Monday night, and it was just simply no match. And also, love the black uniforms. They should wear them more often. I'm surprised they haven't. And now let's get to my interview with Payton Logomarsino. All right, today we welcome on a very special guest. It has been a long time since we've had you on the show. I think the last time I had you on the show was 7 months ago.
Really?
Payton, it's been a while. But Payton, welcome back. How are you?
I'm good. I'm waiting for my merch shirt for
I
being here
I
for
mean I
what, my
did
fifth time? Just like
third,
in
fourth.
SNL when they get those robes for the Five
I have
Timers Club
not
for hosting.
fulfilled the merch
I'm gonna need you to
thing.
do that, bud.
I can arrange that, but
Thank
I
you.
actually wanted to follow up with you. Something you said last time you were on the show, where you said my biggest red flag is I'm a Packers fan. Do you stand by that statement?
Yes, I do.
Why? Out of curiosity, I I
It's
don't see it
kind
as a
of,
red flag.
I would say Packers have a lot more. Okay, maybe, maybe actually I'll take it back. Maybe I'll resend. I will say Packers fans are the sweetest. It's like
Thank
a
you.
they are kind. They have a lot of hope. It's not like the Jets. There's something about the Jets where the Jets are a big red flag. The Packers,
What's a bigger red flag, Jets or Giants? So that's not
I
that
would say Jets. I would
that'll
still
keep
say Jets.
philosophers awake at night.
I would still say Jets right now.
Is
Sorry.
that out of all 32 NFL teams? That like you mean a Jets fan? You're like hard pass, or is
Yeah,
there?
because I've never met a Giants fan. If I had to be so for
I know. I
real,
mean, we have plenty of friends on the show who are Giants fans. I don't have a friend of all 32 NFL teams, unfortunately.
you're gonna need to collect them. Like
That means I need 32 friends. It's a lot of people. I mean,
I don't know. Well, it's not only 32 friends, it's 32 people that all like different NFL teams.
yeah,
So once you find someone that has the
32
same
different
team,
cities.
you got to
Well,
boot
not
them.
that's not 32 different cities because LA and New York have two each. So
How dare they?
20, so 30 different cities.
Yeah.
Done the math. But I think Cowboys fans, well, I've heard that it depends on the Cowboys fan. If it's just some like guy who doesn't live in Dallas who like thinks they're America's team, yeah, they're usually trash. But
Yeah.
I have been told that most Cowboys fans who live in Texas are just Mexican dudes who want to talk about football, and I can get behind that. I can get behind that.
I would feel like that's maybe not the right assessment of their demographic,
I have
but
been, I mean, not as a whole, but I have been told that, like, if you, but Cowboys fans who live in Texas, that
okay.
is a sizable portion of their fan base. But
Okay. Okay.
obviously, there are those people who just bandwagon the Cowboys because they're America's team.
I
Which
don't know who made that assessment. I would go further to say the Green Bay Packers are America's team because they've
I
got the peas heads.
we have the
That's
cheese
way more
heads.
fun. I would if we were going to war and we had to choose a team and we had to wear their merch, I'd be like, give me one of those cheese heads. Give me one of those cheese heads.
What, you don't want the terrible towels?
What terrible towels do they have?
Steelers. That's the Steelers saying the
Oh, oh, oh,
terrible
oh, oh.
towels. Apparently, it's such a special thing. They're not hard to buy. They're very easy to buy. But apparently, like families will pass down their terrible towels to their children.
Yeah, my
Like
friend has them. And now I know
imagine,
what you're talking about.
imagine like telling your child, like, "It's been my family for generations, and
Mhm.
I want you to have it."
And
That's
it
like
forms
terrible.
no generational wealth. They're like, oh, I'm gonna get grandma's diamond ring, and it's a terrible towel. You're like, we won this at one of the games 5 years ago.
I
Yeah.
mean, if we're talking about things we brought at games 5 years ago, I do love telling the story. So that one time I went to the Ole
Okay.
Miss football game down in
Mm-hmm.
Oxford.
Mm-hmm.
Great atmosphere. Grove is great. Ole Miss fans don't have much to root for, especially after last weekend. But this was a while back when I
Yeah,
went.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So this woman like was showing me her pom pom. She's like, I had this when we beat Alabama in 2015. I'm like,
Ooh,
okay, that was 7 years. This was in 2022. I'm like, that was 7 years ago. You
yeah.
haven't beat him since. You play him every year.
I love her spirit though.
I
I
mean, she
love
doesn't.
that.
She's like, my husband doesn't like going to games. I don't care. I go by myself.
And you know what? That's feminism.
And I mean, almost fans are very friendly. It's a lifestyle being mediocre to good SEC fan.
Wow.
It's not like being an Oregon fan. We're blessed.
Right. Yeah, it's been rough couple of weeks, other than it's on
I
the up
mean,
and up, which
I
is
wouldn't
good.
say that even we won. It was still rough. Just because we didn't
It
win
was
by
rough.
enough.
Yeah, it was rough.
It's not a bad world where we are mad because we didn't win by enough.
Yes.
That is a good place to be,
And
to
at
be
least we were
honest.
not Justin Herbert at last week's press conference and the questions he was being asked. How does it feel to be so close to winning, but not winning? And he was like, not really that freaking great. Thanks so
It's
much for
it, it's
asking.
it's not the best feeling in the world when
How
you
does it
almost
feel
won.
to be one score away from winning? Well,
It's called
feels
playing for
pretty
the char.
shitty.
It's called playing for the
Playing for the Chargers. He's
Chargers.
fucking pissed at his defense. He's pissed at his offense. He's getting freaking sacked. Yeah.
It's gonna be do you watch a lot of Chargers games by chance?
No, no, no.
You have you been watching the Chiefs? Also, where is Taylor? We have, or are we not showing her? She went to opening night.
I think that she sadly has a job that she is
Are there? I
going.
mean, have there been Eras tour concerts lately?
No, that she's on pause. I think that she's working. She's
Working
working like if
on
she's a singer.
like
That's
because
the
she probably
fun.
has other stuff to do. Like I don't know, Reputation, Taylor's version.
That's probably what she's doing. She's
What?
quite
What?
busy.
All right. Well, you are our expert on Taylor Swift,
Oh dear
uh,
God, please don't say that.
conspiracy
Please don't say
stuff.
that. Oh
What?
gosh,
You
yes.
are. We had you on the show
I
initially
know,
to
but I
do
want to
that.
be able to hold my head high in public, which I will probably say I love her, but
I mean, so do I. We're a Taylor Swift podcast. Always have.
as,
Always will.
of course, of course.
Um, what is the rumors going around with Taylor Swift these days?
Nothing.
What are they
After
talking
the
about?
VMAs, we have nothing to talk
Really?
about. It's dry. Well, other than every time she goes out of her house, she's wearing plaid, and we're like, Girly Papa's going to give us reputation, and then continues to
Well,
not give
she's
us
wearing plaid.
reputation. Yeah,
Is there a connection between the two? I honestly don't know. I'm curious.
yeah. So, gosh, what was broken down for me was the VMA outfit with the plaid yellow was a shown in the look what you made me do music video. There was a spool of that um fabric ribbon
Hidden in the corner,
hidden in the
probably.
corner. Yeah, essentially. And then she's been wearing ankle boots and they look all similar and the boot patterns are like snake print and then the plaid is similar to the outfits that
So
she
this
wore
is
and
like a long con.
it's a long con. Yeah, essentially, we have nothing. We are putting together air particles at this
Well,
point.
I mean,
So,
I did text you this a while back. I overheard a gentleman behind me. I was walking around somewhere and he was like, yeah, like she gave that endorsement. And again, we're not a political podcast by any means, but do
should
vote.
be. Yeah.
Uh, and the
Register and
guy
then vote.
and the guy was like, yeah, like she's great, but like, is she really gonna make a difference? And I just want to be like, yes, she will. Like, if
I think
I don't think
that
I would do it, but if she said storm the Capitol, I would
don't, Freddie,
consider
don't
it.
finish that statement. Freddie, don't finish that
I
statement. Please
wouldn't
don't.
do it, but I consider it.
If any person in the country, including maybe the former president of the United States, said, and you said it wasn't a political podcast, and you can blurb this out,
We're not a political podcast.
insinuated to storm the Capitol and, commit a heinous crime
Well,
against our government,
I
trying to overthrow
mean,
it,
it's
that would be wrong.
I don't condone it, but like if she told,
If she did that, I would not, I promise. But
I mean, if
I
she did it, I wouldn't do it, but I consider it.
like
I
what
would,
you
I would,
we would say, well, it has to be like time and place, or like what type, where are we? What
yeah,
is she
like
saying?
time and
Who's
place.
in that
But
capital?
if she told me to go somewhere to do something, I would
You consider
consider
it.
it.
Yeah. I think I thought it was interesting because there's a lot of backlash. Like a guy spent $4,000 on a guitar to then smash it the other day.
On one of her guitars
Yeah, no, it was like an auctioned guitar.
from
I
the
don't know
air,
what the money was going to, but it
and
was
he
an
just
Eras
used it
tour
to
guitar.
smash it.
And then it was signed by her, and then the guy like went up on stage and smashed it. And I just love it because personally, I'm like, how emotional of a man do you have to be to feel as though that
Yeah.
this is
Where does your life at where
where?
you're like, you know
Yeah,
what? I got $4,000. I got no family
I got
probably.
no family plans. I could don't. I mean, it went. I don't know what the auction was for. Maybe it's to a good cause. But then to smash it, like you get the guitar and then you could give it to a sick child in the hospital, and then you
Just
decide
make
to
a
smash it
wish.
on stage like a DICK. Like, okay, fine. So I was
Kids these
just,
days.
and then of course, like the audience is like, "Woo, we love it," and I
Wait.
just
Because he smashed a guitar?
yeah, they were for, the overthrow of Taylor Swift because everyone's back into the like era of like we should not let women speak. Like I
Oh,
just don't understand why you should have decided to
that's
speak.
unfortunate.
Which I want to make it very clear if you could read a statement, which she gave a statement very well written out, and if everyone is capable of reading an Instagram statement, it said, I'm not telling you how to vote. I'm just telling you do your research and register to vote.
I mean, I do my own research for this podcast
So
all the
if you
time.
feel, and you know what, also, if you feel as though, let's be BFFR real quickly. She has been outspoken
BFFR,
before
what does
about,
that mean?
let's be for freaking real right now.
All right.
So, with a more explicit word put in there.
You can swear on this podcast. It's
Okay, well,
the
let's
show's
be
rated
for
R,
fucking real,
obviously.
obviously, because it's sports. Um,
Sports.
she has endorsed, other people in the past, and her political leanings have been an opposite way. And so people bought tickets to her concert, and they're like, I'll be selling my tickets. I'm like, okay, fine. But why do you have to be so freaking dramatic about something where it's like, I just don't like it when people out like share the political views, blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, but I'm not going to attend her concert, even though at her concert, she does not in any capacity hate that word, but share or make it about the political environment that we are currently living in. And so you feel so offended I'm like, fine, give up those tickets. There's plenty of people that will take them off your hands. Plenty.
I need to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I went to the Eras tour, she like did this whole thing before one of her songs where she was like talking about if there are any men in the crowd, you're the real feminist. And I remember not friend of a show, but I imagine a huge fan. My roommate Logan. I just remember looking at him like, Logan, we did it. High five, bro. And he's just
Yeah.
like, nope. And then everyone in our section
Don't call it
laughed.
out like that.
Gotta laugh.
Good.
I do
Intentioning
it.
effect.
I do it for the laugh. Come on.
Always gotta do it for the
She
laugh.
said we
No, I
solved
think that's
feminism.
important.
Well, we didn't solve
No,
it. You
you
don't
were good.
solve
You
it.
went there. I want everyone to know you went to the concert not with accompanying anyone else other than Logan. You dragged Logan along,
I mean, he
but
ran
you
a
were not there with a
triathlon.
group of people. It was just you two. So the
I
world should know
I
you were a
abandoned
fan Taylor
I
Swift.
abandoned children to buy tickets.
And
I don't know
as
if I've ever
as
actually.
we
I mean, people know the story, but I don't think I've ever said on air. I
what they
did a
I
bit.
thought
I mean, most people know the
oh
story at
your
this point.
job. You're when you
Yeah, when
were
I
don't share that with the children. When
I
you were coaching,
I told them it was a family emergency.
and you had to
It
go see your
it
mom,
kind of
Taylor
was.
Swift.
Yeah, it kind of was in a
Yeah.
sense. I got the tickets. That's what matters. It would have been a real bummer if I walked in there like incredibly out of breath and sweaty and like I didn't get them.
Yeah. You
It,
won. You
it would
did
have
it.
been the rest of practice would have sucked.
Yeah. You're like,
Like
hey guys, I got those tickets.
I
Happy.
I bet
It's
well they
worth
knew
it.
the family emergency thing was absolute bullshit.
Yeah. I think
They're
most
like,
people know family emergencies are BS.
but what if you
So
have a real family emergency?
I know it takes away from the authenticity of a family
I
emergency
know you
at
need
work.
another fake excuse of a
Yeah.
family emergency.
Yeah.
What would be a good one? That's a fun topic. Well,
Well,
all
thankfully
right.
they can't ask, but well,
Personal reasons,
yeah, you just say I'm sick.
health
Just say,
health issues.
yeah, I'm sick today, so I'm not feeling good. Can't ask me questions. I gotta
You ever
go.
have you ever lied to get out of work off the record?
No, I
Oh, I
haven't.
have. Oh, I have.
Disappointed. I mean, I
Uh,
don't, yeah,
the
I don't
high.
think I have.
Yeah, when I went to the Heisman thing,
Oh, that was recent. That was 2 years
that
ago.
was no, it wasn't 2 years ago. It's last December. So
Really
I
far off then for
I didn't
me.
have to take the weekend off. I don't work weekends of time, but I
Oh,
wanted to go Giants Packers MetLife Monday night. with
Yes.
multiple guests of the show, by the way. We had a whole squad of Step One alum.
Yes. Now I'm
But
recalling. I'm like,
in
no way.
order to, take a day off of work I didn't have, I told him I had a family business meeting in
Oh,
Boston that my mom was making me take the train up to from New York to go.
and you
Uh,
got away with
and
it.
I
You got
sounded
away with it.
really pretentious. You have
Yeah.
a family business meeting.
Mhm.
Sound like I'm in a mafia. Yeah, it's a
I
family
actually,
business.
there's no evidence that would prove that you're not in the mafia. I've not seen any to contradict that. So
I can reassure you, I'm not in it.
your word means nothing to
This podcast is money laundering. But
means nothing to me.
also, I'm not gonna lie, though, when I went to the Heisman, if you actually look back at the ceremony from last year, you can see I'm on TV. Like I'm sitting right behind Jaden.
You
Like you
know,
can
and I
see me.
bet someone from work was watching
That's
that
what I
live
was
stream.
actually they weren't because
No, I
they
know that was me being sarcastic because I was not watching the Heisman Trophy live stream
well
last year. Not many
no
people
one from
do.
my first of all, a lot of people watch the
Sorry,
Heisman
I
Trophy
shouldn't say that.
ceremony.
I shouldn't say that.
A lot of people watch it, but I
Maybe I will
know
this
no
year.
one from work was watching because it
I
was
should
the
say
office Christmas party. So I'm
oh,
like,
you missed the office Christmas party? Those are so sometimes very fun.
I went to the Heisman instead. I think that's a
You're
little
right. That
cooler.
was more fun. That was more
Uh,
fun.
office Christmas party, Heisman. I think the people have spoken,
Yeah.
but
There.
for a second I thought like, oh, what if like my boss is watching this? He does not know. Like only one person knew where I was. And I'm like, what if someone sees this and like, oh, that kind of looks like Freddie.
It's okay.
What's he doing? Sitting like second row at the Heisman Trophy ceremony.
I would have been proud of you. I
I
would
mean,
have
and again, big shout out to all the people who made that weekend happen. If they're watching, like, it was a phenomenal weekend. I,
top five moments.
yeah, top five moments.
Yeah.
Like,
I would
I mean, we talked about it on the show. It was so fucking cool. Like everything about it. Uh, she did say if another Oregon player ever gets nominated, I might get an invite again. So, Dylan Gabriel, let's get together, man.
let's hope.
I
I need
mean,
that win.
he's still kind of in the conversation. Kind of. He was
I
a
don't
high.
really follow a lot of the Heisman Trophy
I mean,
discussion
it
at all.
constantly changes. It's only been 4 weeks,
Yeah.
or it's only been 4 or 5 weeks. So it's like it's constantly changing. You never really know
Yeah.
until like, we'll see what happens. I I don't think Dylan Gabriel is going to win it. I think he could very much be there,
In
but
attendance.
I
Possibility.
think he could be a nominee. I don't know. I mean, if we're talking Heisman players, dark horse one, you probably have not watched this gentleman. Avery Johnson, Kansas State. I think he could be there.
I have not
It
watched that one.
uh it is a dark horse candidate, in my opinion, and I'm saying it on public record that I think Avery
So then
Johnson.
when it happens, if it happens, you were the
It
first one.
also, I mean, I'm not one to talk, but he's got great flow, great head of hair.
Oh,
I mean, from one guy to another who recognizes good flow.
love it.
I want what I can't have.
One day, one
One
day.
day, yeah, when hair technology gets better.
Hey, have you tried it? Oh gosh,
Oh,
changing subjects. What's your next question? Pop it out.
have I tried it?
No, no. Let's just not go there.
Well, there's a lot of different methods.
Changing subject.
Fine, we could change
Thank
subjects.
you. Thank you.
What else we got? We've done our Taylor Swift. Travis
Yes.
Kelsey had a good
Thank.
game.
Yes. Yes.
Finally,
Finally.
for fantasy purposes,
What? I don't have him on my team.
Oh, I have him on my team.
And you know who also did good after I
Who?
dropped him from my team?
Who?
George Kittle. George
Why
Kittle.
would you drop Kittle?
You know,
Who'd you
great
pick up?
question.
Who'd you pick? Why would you drop George Kittle?
Because I need to pick someone up. Here, I'm gonna pop out of this Zoom real quick and then look at my team, my roster.
We're a George Kittle podcast.
I don't know who I got.
You had to get someone.
Oh, I got Dobbins.
Who's your tight end?
Oh, I don't know.
You're in a
Someone.
four-man league. You're fine. You all
No,
make the
I'm not.
playoffs,
I'm losing.
but you all make the playoffs.
Oh, I have Hill as my tight end, and he's been doing really well.
Yeah, because he can also throw the ball. He's a jack of all trades.
Yeah,
Does your
I
league have a punishment or some sort of trophy?
no, not we
So
haven't
what
picked.
do you get if you win or lose?
We don't know yet because we have to pick one out, and we need to pick one out quickly because we were too worried about like punishing someone too sternly. Except because we all kind of the problem is with a four-man league. I don't know with
You won't
our
make the
group.
playoffs.
Yeah, it's more of we know. So far, we have someone that has not lost. Um,
Okay, so an undefeated team, great.
yeah,
This,
someone has an undefeated team, and then the rest of us are just drowning.
I love how
So
it's for your teams are all stacked. It's
it's
ridiculous.
stacked, and it was still killing him. Did you see? And I have CMC, and I'm like really questioning.
He might not come back.
No, I know. And guess what they reported today? He's like, I got Achilles tendonitis in both legs.
So it's a little worse than we
I
thought.
need him to take a step back, which he can't because he's Achilles tendonitis. I I don't know what to do because I'm like like dreaming of dropping him. I'm like, should I just drop him? And then he's gonna come back and get like
Yeah, don't drop him. Hey,
300 points.
yeah, pretty much. You know what the
Yeah.
punishment in my league is this year? Many of
What?
our league members have been on the show, by the way.
Oh,
So we
love
have decided a friend of a show who you do not know because you don't know any of my camp friends because
it.
you're like the one non-camp friend who goes on the show.
Bummer. Bummer.
Uh, so our friend Adolph Herstick was in an amateur theater production of Hamlet. So we decided, wouldn't it be funny if the loser has to do a full
No,
one-man show reenactment of an act of Hamlet? I
that's
don't want to lose,
but
but
where? Like in public or just like over FaceTime?
over like you just have to record yourself doing it.
That's fine.
Well, it would
Sucks.
be hard to do it in public. I don't
It'd be
want to
more
lose.
entertaining if it was in public.
I don't want to
I
lose,
think a
but I
great
would
one would
crush it.
be, yeah, I think you could.
You know I would crush it.
No, I have no doubt in my brain that you would kill.
And I already know
Literally,
which
because
I would
that
do the
beat
final
Hamlet
act of
forever.
Hamlet when the epic sword fight happens when Hamlet knows he's gonna die. Because I just love how you know, you have to signify that Hamlet dies in a play, so he just literally says, "I'm dead, Horatio," and then he dies. But I love how Hamlet had to specify that.
I'm
It's like,
dying. Dead.
I'm dead, Horatio. My bad, bro.
Might be. You gotta step out. Yeah. So anyway, CMC's really ruined that for me. We don't have a punishment yet. Maybe it should be public. We don't want to do a public humiliation
Yeah,
because the
don't do
thing is, the
public.
moment I say it, I'm gonna have to like I'm
It
gonna
doesn't.
lose.
It doesn't have to be a public humiliation. Do something just like the other person, like that someone just really doesn't want to do. Like I've heard everything from public humiliation to like making someone ride the BART line from beginning to
Oh, I
end.
love Bart. Don't say that. We love public
Apparent.
transportation.
I mean, we are pro
I
public transportation.
we are public transportation. Yeah, I don't know. The yeah, if
Uh,
it was public, yeah.
I think you know we. It took us years to think of a
Okay, we were
punishment.
thinking like the SAT because it's a common one where like whoever loses has to go take the SAT or ACT. But that's kind of really crazy to
I
give up on
mean,
Saturday 4 hours more
also
if you do the
like,
essay.
what if they inquire like you're not? What if all these kids like you're not in high school?
I
Like
know.
you
I
don't go
would
to school here.
you would scream out pervert. You're like, hey, I just lost my fantasy league. Sorry. I have to
Sorry,
take this.
I just have to take the ACT.
I have
Well,
to take
wait,
this.
you just have to chill. You have to actually like what if you have to get a certain score?
That would be even better. The problem is I have some smart friends. I'm not very smart, and so they would pass flying colors. Not
Yeah,
me.
no, it should be like LSAT.
Yeah. Ooh, that's painful too. It's expensive too.
Yeah,
So,
I
but they do
mean
allow it online now. So
the online LSAT.
the online LSAT could be really fun. Maybe I'll spring for that. But it'd be a lot of time.
You know, I have a friend who drunkenly decided to decide for the LSAT and actually took it.
Oh, oh my gosh. And that person, wow, good for them. But
I mean, I'll keep him anonymous, but you know him.
I know who it is.
Yeah, you know who he is.
Yeah.
He's not a
I
friend of
can
the
think
show,
of,
so we'll keep him on the low. But
I said, wait a minute. Yeah, that's some crazy stuff. It'd be
yeah,
even better if you passed. So
I mean, it's you don't pass or fail; you just
you
get a
don't fail.
score.
You get a good enough score, get into a good school, peace out,
Yeah.
go to something else. So
Oregon Law School, shamelessly plugging it. Heard great things. Go Ducks.
Is that ironic or is that sarcastic? Excuse me. That's
I
sarcastic.
genuinely mean it's a good school.
Oh my gosh,
It is.
sir, don't
Oregon
say
Law
these
School.
things.
Wait, you don't think Oregon
No,
Law School is that good?
no,
It
it
won
is
metric.
okay. I'm just gonna let it.
It won metric.
I don't see it as a real law school.
You don't see the University of Oregon Law School as a real law school.
No,
I'm
because
pretty
maybe
sure it is.
it is, but
I've been to the library.
I shouldn't say things so boldly and like sound so stupid. But
You
yeah,
just
I've
felt
been to the library too. We have a joke within my friend group about the Oregon Law School, and I'll just
Eh,
leave it at that.
okay. We are
Yeah,
pro. I'm a pro Oregon Law School because I'm pro all things University of Oregon.
yeah, that's
I
good.
mean, go Ducks.
Go Ducks. Go Ducks.
So, did you enjoy the Big Ten after dark? I've they got rid of Pac-12 after dark because the Pac-12 is dead, so now it's Big Ten after dark.
Yeah,
Oregon
wait, what is
UCLA.
that?
It was just a late game for Oregon
Oh,
UCLA.
the game. I thought it was like a
Yeah.
party. I'm like, what do
No,
you
so
mean?
Pac-12 after dark used to be like a thing when the late game would always be Pac-12 game, of course, and it would
Okay.
start like at 11. It was Pac-12 after dark. But now you can't do that 'cause Pac-12 doesn't really exists. They just added Gonzaga today, actually,
Oh,
but they're not a full member because Gonzaga doesn't have a football team.
yeah, I was about. That's why I hesitated and I said the
Oh,
Bulldogs don't have a football
but
team. They have a
still,
basketball
like
team.
I
They got a
think
basketball team.
I'm curious to see how I think they'll still be really good now that the Pac-12 is like completely different. I don't think it's going to
Yeah,
change Gonzaga basketball at all. Maybe a couple rivalries, but like yeah, but Gonzaga is Gonzaga.
yeah.
They're pretty good at basketball.
They know what they're doing. They're pretty good. So I do love some Gonzaga. I
Gonzaga
never got to go to a game. My dad went to their away game in Stockton to one of the Zag
to play
games.
against who?
Or UOP,
You
University of Pacific, which is in Stockton.
I did not know
Yeah,
that.
it's okay. No one does.
Um,
Sorry, UOP. Sorry, UOP.
good old Stockton.
Get all Stockton. Yeah,
Yeah,
don't worry. I didn't grow up on the way there.
easily the best city in Central California.
Gosh, I know. I love it there. The beaches, the
There's
clean
no
air,
beaches in
crime,
Stockton.
the bay.
There a
That
bay in
you know,
Stockton? No, right?
they
There's
have a body of water.
there's a river, I
That would be the
think.
body. I think so. They allow freights down it. I don't know how
There's a
geography
lot of
works. So a
Latin music
river.
stations in
Let me
Stockton.
look up. Let me look up.
I actually have a problem if we're talking about Latin music. I never want to listen to it because what if I get really into a song and then I can never figure out how to find that song? Because like last time I was in that area, I thought like let's listen to radio. All right, I'm sick and tired of Spotify,
Oh yeah, it is a river. I don't know what I'm even talking
and
about. Jeez.
I was just going through all these stations. Every time I hit live music, I'm like the song's a banger, but it's gonna bother me that I'm never gonna hear it again.
Yeah.
And so I would just like I can't do it to this myself. Like, what if I fall in love with a song but I can never figure out what it's called because I don't speak the language?
You cracked me up.
Uh,
Yeah, it's the San Joaquin River. Okay, sorry, it's just checking.
just a personal issue I had when driving through Stockton. I
I thought you did drive through it.
I've been it's on the highway, so I probably have.
Yeah, it's not very memorable. Yeah,
Uh,
my dad used to row in the naval yard
at
in
Stockton.
on the San Joaquin River. Yeah, like big boats would pass him. The good old days.
Good old days.
Yeah. So that's what he used to do.
All right.
Like there's a body of water that I pass and I
There's a
see.
body of water in Stockton. Good to
Yeah.
know.
Which question for you, if you were a body of water, what would you be?
I mean, I tend to like lakes because they usually are
What
surrounded
lake?
by mountains.
Yeah, which lake?
Or which lake? It's a good question. Uh, I don't know which one, but I have a fun trivia question for you. This is
No.
not sports related. Lake Tahoe is not the biggest lake west of the Mississippi. Do you know what it is? It's not Lake Tahoe. This is so not relevant to the show, but it's just a fun tidbit I have.
Not Crater Lake.
It's not Crater Lake.
How? Is
Nope.
that south of the or west of the Mississippi?
Lake Powell is West Mississippi, but
Are
it's
we
not
talking
Lake
about
Powell.
California?
We are not talking
Okay.
about California.
Oh, then I'm totally screwed. It has to be,
You may have not even ever heard of it.
yeah, where is it? I don't.
Flathead Lake in Montana.
Yeah, I
It
would
is
not
about
know that.
4 square miles larger and Lake Tahoe.
Jeez.
It's just your
Jeez.
fun fact of a day
Thank you for the
for
fun
all you
fact.
geography nerds.
Yeah, I need to learn some, I need to figure out some geography. I feel like that's important in my old age.
I mean, I know geography only because of sports.
That's
Nope.
smart.
I
That's
know where all the
good.
college towns are because of the teams that play there.
And that will probably, genuinely, I'm not being sarcastic, that will probably help a great deal.
Yeah, like how else would I know about Piscataway, New Jersey, if it weren't for Rutgers? Like
I
you
am
have not
shocked that you
lived
just pulled
until
that out
you
of
have
your tush.
raged until you've been to Piscataway on a Friday night.
Gosh, you know what? That's my bucket list. I've been looking
Rucker,
for a good place, maybe for a
Rutgers.
bachelorette trip. Oh my God, sounds amazing.
So we had a friend of the show. I was hanging out with him this week, and he was like telling me how his like buddy's bachelor party, the initial like pick of location was going to be Albany, New York, and he was like, that would have been the worst weekend ever.
Like they would all fly in or
I
drive
mean,
to Albany, New
they're
York.
in the East Coast. It would have been a drive, but still, imagine like,
I would drag my feet and scream a little bit. I would just maybe not
what do you
attend.
think the worst place to have a wedding or a bachelorette party would be?
Albany, New York,
Albany. All right, so got that. I can. Well,
behind
let's
a mall.
before we get to my final question. I top three worst place for wedding or bachelorette party. Okay, so you have Albany. Uh, I,
Yeah,
I would toss in like Akron, Ohio.
never been that, but yeah, that probably adds up. Um,
Reno.
Reno, Nevada. Yup. Period. Um, and then Folsom, California.
That's where you're from.
And that would be the worst place for a bachelorette trip if I had to say so.
Folsom.
There's a lake though, so I shouldn't sound so pompous. Barstow, California.
Barstow.
Yeah, let's let that one.
It's in a desert.
Stockton, we can just go right back to Stockton and say Stockton would not be an ideal place, but that's actually ironically where my parents got married.
I mean, it's a great city. I speaking of bachelorette parties, I remember when I was in Milwaukee many years ago. We went to like some bar, and apparently, like it was a stop on like a bachelorette like boat booze tour, like for bachelorette parties. They would like get on these river boats, and they
Oh
would
my God.
periodically stop at bars. So like
I love
three
it.
different bachelorette parties rolled in while we were just getting lunch.
Everyone's dream come true. That's
Like
like, that's
I
awesome.
didn't know Mill. I mean, when I think of bachelorette destinations, I think of like Charleston, Vegas, probably.
Tennessee,
Well, Nashville, of course.
Nashville,
Yeah,
thank you.
Nashville seems like an awesome place. I've
Yeah,
only been once.
never been.
I was there for three
Austin,
hours.
Texas is popular right now, or
Austin,
Dallas.
Texas.
Yeah,
Oh, don't go to Dallas.
I've never been.
Uh,
Well.
you don't need to go.
Las Vegas was a good one.
Vegas.
Vegas
Yeah,
would be fun.
last time on the show we were talking about my time in Vegas, how walked around a sack full of quarters.
Jeez,
We talked about that last week.
that's awesome and
We didn't-
horrible.
Well, we couldn't use them.
No, yeah, I don't think you
No,
can use.
because it used to be you could play quarters in the slots. Can't do
Oh,
that
the
anymore.
slot. Okay.
No, I was just betting quarters at the blackjack table.
Oh, okay. I
No,
see.
I went to a strip club and made it drizzle.
It would be painful, those poor women with those
Imagine,
quarters. They might beat you.
imagine a dude at a strip club with a sack. Just
Throwing
tossing.
quarters at these women and it hits them in the eye,
Like,
and they're like, "Jay,
hey,
stop!"
here's your kid's college fund right here.
It's horrible. Don't say that, please.
I
Oh my God,
know. I know, but it's funny.
it's good shit.
All right.
Okay, next question.
Before I let you go, we do this at
Okay.
the end of every episode.
Oh no.
Super Bowl picks. What do you got? I want to see who's the closest to being right.
Maybe the Vikings,
Okay.
but
I
the
we have not
Bills.
had
I might give it to the Bills this year.
okay, so you
But
have
poor Bills
Bills as your
Mafia has been.
AFC, you have your Bills as your AFC representative, and then who are they beating? Or who are they playing and who's winning?
Oh gosh, who's had a really good year so far?
I hate to say the Vikings.
You could. I just yeah, but no. Are Vikings and Bills in the same?
They are in
Let's,
opposite conferences, so that
let's do
could be a.
that. Let's do those two. Let's
All
do
right,
that
so you have
too.
Bills and Vikings. Who's winning? I
Vikings.
will. All right, Viking. I like this is a out of a. I mean, to be fair, a lot of these picks were like early in the season. Most people have guessed Chiefs. You are our first person to have the Vikings or Bills in a Super Bowl. Uh,
Wow. What?
my pick is a little bold. I will give myself one mulligan at some point this season if I want to switch it, but I'm riding with this one for now.
Okay.
Packers over Bengals.
Yep. No, but
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, but the Bengals finally got a win.
Finally.
I just like Joe Burrow,
Oh,
and I
I
believe in
know.
him
But
too
didn't he hurt his
much.
ankle last week?
No, I think he was all right.
Yeah, he just
He
kind of bounced.
played.
He bounced back. He bounced
We're a
back.
Joe Burrow podcast.
Oh, me too.
Always
Who is? I
have,
mean,
always will.
how could I not be? I'm not. Trust me, I don't got
Joe,
nothing
well,
against Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow is like the reason why I mean, obviously I fell in love with college football
Other
going
than
to
the
Oregon,
fact, yeah. Other than the fact
but
of that
Joe Burrow
haircut.
helped.
Yes.
I will admit, it does look pretty lame when you lose and you have bleached blonde hair. Like that's not a good look when you
Yeah, you can.
lose.
You only get a bleach blonde hair when you're winning.
Yeah,
That's the only
like
thing. Don't
it
do
should
bleach
have been
blonde when
like
you're
a
losing.
start of a season. It should have been like if we make the playoffs, I'll bleach my hair blonde.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like I mean, if the Packers win a Super Bowl, what would I do if the Packers win the Super Bowl? Like what's like a crazy promise I can make? I will smoke a cigar, but that's pretty normal.
Um.
It should be
Gosh.
like a bold like claim. Like
Donate to a like local Wisconsin.
you've had whenever. In a given spirit. Start step one fund,
Well,
right?
yeah.
All right. If the
Um.
Packers win the Super Bowl, what do I
Oh
do?
wait, I do know what you should do, and I'm not gonna
Which
share
oh
it.
please do.
I'll text you.
Uh I'm is it not
I
PG?
no. It is PG. I'm just more. I'm like, I think that if the Packers win, you have to call like your crush and like and admit your feelings.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um that is all right.
I think
So
that's fair. I think that would be.
that might be a bold move. There might be a few Miller Lights
But then the
involved.
Packers have to win for this to happen. So I'm getting all excited and giddy, and I'm like, wait a minute, they have to win.
We're 2-2. As-
50-50. The Chiefs are looking good.
quarterback controversy vows. Jordan Love is 0-2 and Malik Willis is 2-0.
Thank gosh. That I don't have. Oh my
Well,
God.
I think Malik Willis had a much easier go with it. I think anyone could beat the Titans except for the Dolphins, as we learned.
Yeah. What the? Yeah.
Mason
Yeah.
Rudolph is the savior of that franchise. I've said it and I'll say it again. He's going to save the
Say it
Titans this
again.
season.
Say it loud. Say it loud.
Don't. They're already talking about starting Will Levis after bye week. Bad idea.
Okay.
All right.
That's
Anyways, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. Always happy to have you on.
so
You're
happy to
welcome.
be.
I will get you a shirt. I will make the shirt.
I'm just kidding with you. I'm just messing with
I'll
you.
make it. All right. Thanks, Ben. Got a big weekend of conference play for college football coming up. And it all starts Friday with Oregon hosting Michigan State for Oregon's first ever Big Ten home game. I'm hoping Oregon continues to play at a high level because we have seen over the last few weeks when the offense gets cooking, hard to stop. I hope they give the fans and also the country a show on Friday night. Moving into Saturday, we got a ranked SEC matchup down in College Station where Missouri is coming into town to take on the Aggies. I'm still not sold on Missouri as a top 10 team. I think they're good, but this is going to be by far their biggest test this season. It's a really tough environment to play at Kyle Field. And I think Missouri, if they win this game, I think they're a legitimate team. But I think, they've escaped by, they did play Boston College. But that was at home. Boston College maybe wasn't as good as people thought they were. We're still a Boston College podcast, of course. But it's going to be a fun game to see how good Missouri is. And shockingly, there are no overranked matchups this weekend. The big game this weekend was supposed to be Clemson against Florida State. But now that Florida State is bad, and I know DJ is injured and maybe they'll start playing better now that DJ's injured, maybe. But it's not going to be a good game. I think Clemson is going to run all over them. We will see if Rutgers can continue their hot start in a tough road game against Nebraska. This might be a bigger game for Nebraska than they care to admit. They want to show people that they're, in fact, back to being relevant. And Rutgers, what if they had to lose? Like, no one thought Rutgers was going to be undefeated at this point. You get a big win in Nebraska like this could be a program changing win for Rutgers potentially. Florida will hope to get a win before their schedule becomes impossible. This might be a bold take, but this might be the last game until the end of November that Florida can feasibly win. Yes, they could probably beat Florida State, but that's the last game of the season. And beyond that, their schedule is so tough that I think this might be a must win for Florida just to have a little momentum going into a gauntlet of a schedule. Like, if they don't win this, I don't know if they're winning another game for the season. Like, yeah, maybe it'll be Florida State, but who knows by then? Because, like, they're not, they play like Georgia, they play Bama. It is a bad schedule for Florida. College Game Day has decided to pick the Miami versus Cal game as their destination this week. I didn't realize this. College Game Day has never been to Berkeley, which is surprising. There was a time when like Cal was actually pretty good at football. I don't know. They had a guy named Aaron Rodgers. They were number one at one point. I think in like the mid 2000s, I want to say. They've had good players. They had Jared Goff, and yet somehow there was never a big enough game for College Game Day to go all the way out to Berkeley. But nonetheless, it took Cal moving to the ACC for College Game Day to make the trip out there. So now there are only five schools in the Power Four that have never hosted game day, and they are Illinois, Rutgers, Syracuse, Maryland, and Virginia. I know College Game Day picks based on the matchups, but just a hot take. If Rutgers continues to play this well, hypothetically, I could totally see them taking a trip to Piscataway, and I think that'd be really funny if they did. That being said, I don't think Cal's going to win this game against Miami. I think Miami's pretty good. Cal's not a hard place to play. I I was shocked if Cal wins this game, but it's also a ACC after dark game because it starts at 10:30 Eastern time. So who knows if Miami fans are even going to stay up that late? We'll find out. We got an exciting NFL weekend, and it all starts on Thursday with the NFC South Division matchup with the Buccaneers taking on the Falcons. Buccaneers are a good team with Baker Mayfield, but I think the Falcons have a lot of potential, especially on offense. If they just utilize Bijan a little more, because I don't know, I drafted him in fantasy football. They also have other weapons. They have Kyle Pitts, who they criminally underuse. Their offense could be way better, and I think they have the pieces to be good. Moving into Sunday, we got our first London game of the season with the Jets versus the Vikings. This could be a fun game, actually. Sam Darnold could show his old team what it's like being a quarterback for a better franchise. Maybe this game will inspire Aaron Rodgers to play one more year after this season, just for the Vikings. Come on, how funny would it be if he falls in the path of Brett Favre? Again, it blows my mind that the Vikings are somehow undefeated. I wrote them off this season. I was wrong. I am the better man. I will admit when I'm wrong, and I was very wrong about the Vikings. For the early afternoon game, it's not a ton of great matchups. We'll see if Jane Daniels can keep his high level play going against the Browns. The Patriots versus Dolphins game might be one of the worst games of a season. Hopefully, the Colts will play Joe Flacco again because I want to see more Joe Flacco. It's just fun that Joe Flacco at this age is just playing so well. Like, the guy came out of retirement last year on a just because the Browns needed someone. They're like, they called Joe Flacco and like, can you please play? And he led them to the playoffs. And now maybe he'll help the Colts. I don't know. It's just fun. Bills against Texans will be a fun game as Stephon Diggs hopes to have a big game against his former team. We got an NFC North matchup with the AFC North. My bad. We got an AFC North matchup with the Ravens versus Bengals. Hoping the Bengals find a way to win this game just to get their season back on track. What better way to do that than to beat the Ravens? I think the Ravens have finally figured out their offense, though, and their defense is playing all right. So it's going to be a tough game. It's ridiculous that the Ravens are this good. I know they start 0-2, but anyone who knows football knows that was just a fluke. They showed us last Sunday. They are, in fact, a very good team. The late afternoon, not a ton of great games. Raiders versus Broncos could be fun. Both teams are going to struggle on offense. The Packers hope to get a bounce back win in LA against the Rams. I am curious to see how many Packers fans will be at SoFi Stadium because the Rams don't really have like fans, in my opinion. So it's gonna be like 70% Packers fans at SoFi on Saturday. So it'll be like another home game, hopefully. Sunday night, we have a fun matchup with the Steelers taking on the Cowboys. The Cowboys defense is struggling this season, and this could be a big game for the Steelers. If they can figure out how to exploit that mediocre defense, maybe get some points, because the Steelers defense is good. And I think the Cowboys are going to struggle a lot. And on Monday night, we will see Derek Carr and the Saints take on the Chiefs. Chiefs still haven't lost, and how funny it would be if they lost to an old foe named Derek Carr. Despite all the injuries, the Chiefs just find ways to win games. As long as Patrick Mahomes is throwing a ball, you have a chance. And I think we are going to see what that looks like this entire season because let's see, they're down two receivers, they're down a running back, yet they're finding ways to win games. I don't think the Saints are going to get much of a run for their money. I think the Chiefs are going to cruise to another primetime win. That's our show for this week. Thank you so much for watching. We will be back next week. Big Fred, over and out.